If a person has an intimate experience in a dream, regardless of who it is with, whether you know that person or not, you should understand that at that moment, an unclean force has taken advantage of you. But the worst part is, if you had an orgasm at that moment, it means you gave birth to a new entity at that time. My recommendations. In the morning, be sure to take a shower and rinse off with fresh water.
As for you giving birth to a new entity, this is a very dubious statement. I am not ready to agree with it. Regarding the idea that if you had sex at night and experienced an orgasm, well, you can say goodbye to your energy. Most likely, yes, it was an inorganic being that took advantage of your unstable mental state.
So this can really happen?
Yes, yes, yes. And these beings are called, well, again, I didn't name them, I just know what they're called. They're called succubi. So, there's a specific group of inorganic beings that are actually on the lookout for people who are inclined towards sexual pleasure, and they just create the conditions for them of these sexual emotions, and they feed off these energies. It's absolutely real.
So the birth of an entity doesn't happen?
Well, no, No. I've never seen anything like that. I can't imagine how that's technically possible. So, no, this is some kind of already... It smells like amateurism.
In any case, in this process of connections and some... Yeah, well, what connections?
I admit that there might be an entity. I've never seen such things in my practice, and I've never heard of them either. No one has ever told me about this, those who practice it. I've never encountered those who master energy.
Can we call our state in sleep a vulnerable state for connections to us, let's say, from other realms?
Of course, our perception there is much higher than when interacting from the physical body with the outside world. In perception, when interacting from the physical body with the outside world. In the physical body, we're really dense. It's very hard for us to grasp things. Yeah, there, it's more vulnerable. There, we are in a more disadvantaged state. So if a person is passionate and doesn't satisfy their passion, I just had these cases. I already talked about this guy today. So he decided to take on some asceticism and not have sex. After a while, he complains to me that he had an orgasm in his sleep. He ruined his underwear and just everything that was there. And it's like, well, I feel an energy loss. I said, well, of course you feel an energy loss because you lost energy. I say that there was erotic sandal. I say, well, now you understand why I say that if you take on asceticism, you need to be very clear about what you're going to spend that energy on. You won't be able to keep her inside you. They'll still separate you. It was bred by inorganic beings who saw, yeah, the guy is inclined, he suppressed this passion, which means he is inclined to it. So through this, we pulled it off him. I found myself in such situations too.
What consequences does this have for a person?
Yeah, nothing serious. You just throw away some time dedicated to practices. You don't need to throw ashes on your head here. You just need to understand what kind of world you live in. If you walk around with an open wallet, there's a chance someone will want to reach in there.
Can a person enter other spaces, like the astral, for example, unconsciously while sleeping?
You might do it unconsciously, or you might do it consciously and then completely forget about it. You might be in a semi-conscious state there. I've had similar cases too. All right, I'll tell you quickly. We stayed in an apartment with several people who have astral projection abilities. And one night, I had a dream. In that semi-conscious state, I reached out to those people we were with there. In the morning when I got up, I was like, did I dream that or was it really happening? I didn't understand whether I dreamed it or not because my state was very immediate. When everyone woke up, they looked at me very strangely. I was like, damn. And everyone owned this technology. But when they started posing for me, showing how I was behaving in that astral state, I realized that it wasn't a dream. It was reality. So you can be in different states there.
But why can this happen unconsciously? What does it depend on?
From the mobility of consciousness, from its brightness, on how much a person is actually engaged in their development in this area. We can completely fall out of our bodies spontaneously. and then never remember it. And we can dedicate a few years of our lives to it, and several years of his life. And just like that, it's like riding a bike to these islands.
Is it possible for a person to enter these spaces, other dimensions, and then not be able to come back?
No, that's not true. A couple of people have a physical body, they will always be able to return. It's like an anchor. You can't break free from it. Only if you put your body in a state of death, or somehow prevent it from waking up, like with medication, then yes. But it will still be an influence through the body. If someone tries to hold you there in some way, no, you'll be shot back into your body like a rubber band from your underwear. Well, not at all.
Okay. And what if we consider the situation when a person exits into the astral, in a dream or not in a dream? What's it like there? There are different entities, a completely different flow of time. What's it like there? How can this be described, explained?
It all depends on where he goes there. Now you will go out into the astral plane and stand next to me. With this tower, with the light bulb. What's going on here? It's all the same. I'm sitting at a table with a bunch of cameras.
So it might never change on the outside.
Sure, why should that change if you find yourself right here in front of me? The astral is just a state of being. It means you're in the body of a second attention. Your consciousness has exited from the physical and is moving in your energy double. You can move to a place where she won't understand at all where you are and what you are. Yeah, you can move there, but most likely you'll only be there for a couple of seconds before they shoot you out of there. We can travel in our subtle body throughout the entire universe. We can teleport. And for this, you need to know what the gates are, how to dive into them, how to detach from your physical body, how to form your double. Basically, when a person first leaves their body, it literally only lasts for a second. He doesn't even have time to understand anything. 2 or 3 steps back, if a person says they left their body and traveled all night, they were just dreaming.
Can it be dangerous for a person in general when they don't have any senses, with some knowledge? And for example, it happened by chance?
Yeah, basically, it's dangerous to live. Who does that stop?
Have you ever left your body? Well, with the request consciously.
Of course. I've been traveling out of my body since I was 12. I know a lot about this process. It's nothing dangerous. Alive and well. I'm just sitting here smiling. Basically, these processes are feared either by those who can't do it or by those who managed to do it once, didn't understand anything, and then go around scaring others.
Basically, can you learn to move like this?
Of course. It's trained, just like a person trains to swim, for example. He trained, he swims. It's the same with leaving the body. You train and you leave. This is the level of development of an animal, a beast. I've seen so many times how my cat's subtle body leaves and travels somewhere in the multidimensionality. He's coming back. It's the same way that all animals can swim, simply because they are genetically capable of doing it. But a person as a particularly gifted individual forgets about this. They need to learn. Although children travel out of their bodies, they do it just for the journey.
Why is it that children can do this better? It seems easier for them. What does it depend on?
Because they haven't yet experienced all the burdens and seriousness of this mortal life. They have a dynamic energy. Fewer spasms, less importance, fewer problems that weigh heavily on everyone. They just die in life. Their attitude towards life is different. They play. When a person stops playing, that's when they lose everything. Innate energetic abilities. And they become heavy, immobile.
So it depends on our energy, the mobility of our consciousness, and the breadth of our perception.
Especially, the more mobile your consciousness is, the broader your perception. The faster your energy moves, the easier it is for you to follow these rules. But if you're already mired in everyday life, if everything is bad, if everything is very serious, then where are you going to fly?
Everything is really bad and serious. It's already at a high level. So it turns out, what should you start with to get to this point? Can you get there right away? Or is there some process, like with children, where you can just play?
Basically, a person who follows the recommendations for a week falls out of their body. Just a week during the week, not after a week. During the week, one experience, another. I first experienced it when I was 12 years old and spent several more years studying this phenomenon. I was very proud of myself that I could do it, while no one else could. Well, at least in my circle, and now I'm not doing that anymore because there are many more promising practices. Sri Yantra, for example.
Anton, I thank you for your answers. We will leave all the links in the description below the video. Make sure to write down your questions and impressions. We'll try to answer them in the next video.
Do you want to unlock your inner strength and learn to manage energy? The course, Power of Consciousness 1. Practical Energy will provide you with tools to improve health, develop intuition, and gain a deeper understanding of the world. Join and start changing your life right now. Link in the description.